So now, in this very condition, we are just giving him the window like 1/1 and 1/2. From there, you can just go to your relative storage devices. But if this interface goes down, guys, then what is going to happen? If let it be, this interface goes down, you will disrupt your server also. If you have got disconnection over here, you will disrupt the server also. So more oftenly, what you would see, we do have backup kind of interfaces. Like I'm going to tell that 1/3 and 1/4. You are also going to participate in vSAN 100 and vSAN 200. So I'm going to have two set of interfaces that is going to be called into our vSAN 100 and 200. So this interface, even this interface is 200. But at a time, how many interfaces will be mapped? One. Only single interface will be mapped, not the dual interface. So you have to really see that what vSAN you are configuring over here and what very vSAN you are configuring over here. And that interfaces would be mapped. But if you are working with some another setups, because over here, what is the requirement? You need to have more number of cables. So to do some redundancies. Even when this interface goes down, you would see there would be a little bit of disruption would be there, which I was talking about. Like I need to now map to the new set of interfaces. Because whenever this interface goes down, you will see that it will give a problem there. The server interface. Ultimately, it will go obviously onto our irreducible state, all visible state. Whenever this interface goes down, this interface will be also relatively it is going to be changed into our irreducible state. And now you have to again go for a new remapping. So it will take a little bit of time. And can you tell that this is a very good design that I have created? No. Yes. So that's one point that I'm talking about. If you see this NPV and NPIV, it's clearly like a FX. I don't see there's very much differences that is between these very technologies. Because if you will see FX is not a small thing. Like you might have done that things in today's classes. But the creation of FX was being seen by taking a look onto many protocols. And this was of that very sense. Like what was the main motto of FX? Do not make a complexity in our network design. I need not to do a lot of configuration many devices. Okay, so we did see the behavior of FX from an Ethernet world. But if you will see from a storage world, it is also going to behave in this very way. In storage world, we had got this concept first, and then only we had seen in our FX. So whatever the pinning and unpinning kind of things, they have been derived from these technologies. So FX, which is going to even work in a storage world, but you need to have a very special kind of FX for it. It's not going to have any low-end FX that is going to also work in our fiber channel kind of world. Now, if I'm going to see the things in a topology number 2 basis.
Sir, we mentioned about the port channel. So if we create a port channel, will it carry multiple vSANs?
And that is the thing that you need to do now. Like you need to create a very special kind of port channel for it.
Yes.
So did you understand this very condition, guys? Why I was not able to detect my servers? This was the first thing. But if you go with topology number 2, in topology 2, if I do have NPIV device, okay, it doesn't matter. I do have vSAN 200, I do have vSAN 100, and I do have let it be 2 links, so to form a good redundancies. And then I do have my NPV-based switch. I do have initiator for vSAN 100. I do have initiator for our which very vSAN 200. Now in this condition, it will be always much better. Even we have seen in FX technologies that going with a physical interface as the FX, it's not a good pattern. It's not good. We should always make it as you please go via port channels. So over here, we can even create a port channels. The mode would be very different. The mode we will be calling as F, and this very mode will be called as what? NP. But this NPIV, if it's going to receive multiple vSAN, then you have to tell that this F is going to have multiple vSAN. Okay, and this multiple vSAN will be only done if you do have F port channel trunk kind of features. But guys, I'm not pretty sure about in these devices whether it's going to work very properly or not. I'm not tested it out in the devices. I didn't got an opportunity. Today I'm going to test it out with you. But first of all, let's concentrate on these very patterns. Like over here, on what very basis we have done the mapping? It did happen automatically. Like in my current topology, I do have what? I do have vSAN 100. I don't have what? vSAN 200. I do have how many interfaces? I do have two set of interfaces. Is it or not? So what is the condition? I do have two set of interfaces, 1/1 and 1/2, and both we have defined with which very vSAN? vSAN 100. But this server has been mapped automatically to which very interface? 1/1. Now if 1/1 goes down, then he will map itself to which very interface? 1/2. But can I configure it statically? We do have the methodology. So let's take a look onto it. Okay. So now if I'm going to see over here onto our MDS3, if I take a look on show NPV external interface uses, you will see 1/10 has mapped himself into which interface? 1/1 directly. If you will see some other things like show NPV status. Now what is telling about on the status? Like on 1/1, we had mentioned what very vSAN. We had mentioned a vSAN 100 and their related FCID is being defined. Guys, if you do have a good concepts onto it, now it will be pretty easy in FIs. In FIs, over here we're writing the things in CLI mode now. In FIs, we have to just click it. Just a click function we need to do. But whole the stuff is being taken care by these very processes only, guys. Now, if I'll see on 1/8, we are getting what? We don't have any upstream devices where we are mentioned regarding that very vSAN. So I do have number of external interface as 3, but I'm right now having one server interface. Now in this condition, guys, let it be if I'll disrupt 1/1. Like I disrupt this interface. Then what is going to happen? 1/10, whether he will reap into other interface? Yes or not? I can just shut down from anywhere. We can go to FC 1/1 and we will do what? Shut down. Now if I see show NPV status, the interface is down. If I see show NPV external interface uses, now what you would find out? It has into 1/2. And now the floggy that will be done on virtual interface 1/2. But whether we will do a refloggies and whether we will change his FCID. Like earlier, what was the FCID which we got from 1/1, and now the new interface is 1/2. Whether we have changed the FCID, no, it's not going to be changed. It's going to be stable over there. But if I pin him to the very different device, then whether the new FCID will be defined to him?
Yes.
Obviously, yes.
Domain ID.
Is yes or not? Because yes, that switch will have different domain ID as compared to our MDS number 2. All right. So if I want to make even MDS2 to also participate in this very condition, I need to go where in MDS3, and in MDS3, what I'm going to define interface 1/8. Sorry, vSAN database vSAN 100 which interface FC 1/8 into it. We'll go to FC 1/8, shut down, go to MDS2, interface FC1/8 shut down, and then commit what? No shutdown. No shutdown. Now this time whether you're going to get external interfaces, this time you're getting up in the condition, but his domain ID would be little bit different. I'm getting as a device like our FCID. Now this time if I'm going to go to our FC1/2, which is the remaining interface, even if I'll shut it down, okay, what will happen to the server? If I'll go to MDS2 and if I'll see show floggy database, what I'm going to get, guys? On 1/8, I'm going to provide two devices the FCID, one to the NPV switch and one to the server. And ultimately, his identification from the FCID basis would be pretty cheap. Because now who is mapping? Another set of NPIV switch. It is not that very MDS number one. So obviously, he is going to change the node name. Node name, network address. And what is network address? Domain ID. Because obviously we are going to have two different set of domain IDs over here. But let it be, if I'll go to now again to MDS3, and this time if I'll go to FC1/1 to 2, and we will commit no shutdown. So the whether it is going to be mapped with our 1/1 or 2. If I'll see show NPV status, now every interface is coming up. If I'll see show NPV extra interface usage, still it is mapped with which interface? 1/8. Is not going to change his interfaces ever. But if I'm going to shut down this interface FC1/8 shutdown, now we are going to pin him into what interface? 1/1. We didn't waste it a long time, as you can see over here. But still, there will be a little bit of disruption would be there if you are just doing a mismatch onto the physical interfaces. But in this condition, if it was a port channels, then we could have seen the beauty would be pretty different. Because I'm going to go with what? Port channels, not from our physical interface. And obviously, when you change the physical interfaces, there would be a little bit of disruption that will be taking place. Okay, let me bring up that interface 1/8. Will commit no shutdown. So I do have 3 extra interfaces. Is it or not? But let it be the question tells that I need this port should be always mapped to which very port? 1/8. I need to map it statically, not as dynamically. Then what I'm going to do? If I'll take a look on to our configuration guides, you'll see all those examples has been already written. Like this one, configuring list of extra interface per server interface. The command is pretty simple. You need to go where? To the configuration terminal. You need to tell that NPV traffic map server interface, tell about the server interface, tell about the extra interface. Pretty easy command. So you're going to tell that which server interface should map to which very external interfaces. So that is going to be called as what? Static pinning. This is what? Dynamic pinning. When you talk about this very same thing in our UCS, we will be telling that this is called as what? WIF path. How the path has been created for it. Just the name is analogous, guys. Okay. But still there are some sort of another stuff regarding WIF path, because it's not only the condition of FIs to the storage network you have to see. You have to even see the path from FIs to your IM modules, IM to your backplane ports, to your mezzanine adapters, and then the adapter has to be connected to our operating systems. So there are a lot of interfaces and adapters that we are going to see in our process. But entirely the logic is going to be same. It's not going to be much different. Usually when I'm going to go with usage classes, we will see more oftenly we have to configure FIs and the uplink interfaces. And the similar stuff will be also present over here. You'll rarely get any kind of problem in your internal to the devices. Because if there is any problem, then we can tell there is a hardware issues within UCS. And these are the real magic of UCS, guys. Like you need to do a lot of cabling. Cabling headache is not there. But you can see over if this any of the interface goes down, then it's going to be a big headache for us. Now, if I need to make a static mapping, how we will be doing that very static mapping, guys? It's going to be pretty easy. We have to do that things in the NPV switch.
Yeah.
We need to go to configuration terminal and we need to tell about what?
NPV traffic.
We need to tell NPV.
Sorry.
There are two things: auto load balance. So configure the auto load balancing among preferred external interface links, whether you want to do that things or not, and whether it's going to be having a disruptive in the nature. So you can enable or you can disable, depends upon you. But if I'll talk about the NPV traffic map, it's going to tell that which server interface. So what is my server interface number? 1/10. So I'm going to tell 1/10. And to what very external interface? 1/8. Even you can see that is being mapped to even two set of port channels.
Yeah.
Like you do have two set of port channels that is going to two different devices, then you can define it also. Now I'm going to write on external interface FC 1/8 into it. What is telling over here? External interface list contain the one in use, because now this 1/10 is already mapped to 1/1 out 2. It's not mapped to 1/8. So in this condition, what you should be doing? You should go to 1/1 to 2, comma FC 1/8, commit it as in no shutdown. Commit this command, then later on, and then only enable it. And then commit this very no shutdown. Saying it is down, but it is going to come up. Okay, don't worry. There are some sort of condition, like if you go to error disabled, detect. When I'm going to detect error disabled, due to what cause? So these are the cause that can make you to go to the error disabled state. Like usually we do have some sort of policies in our Ethernet switches to tell that when I should be going to our error disabled state, which can be done by BPD guard, which can be done by our look guard.
No.
That is look inconsistent mode. What another mode can make our port into our error disabled state? Port security. You can have the port channel guard. You can have UDLD. You can have link flapping. So many conditions could come up and can make you to have a error state. But over here, remember in MDS switches, you can tell about due to what very cause I'm going to make it as our error disabled state. So you need to tell about the cause. So now this is the cause which we have got over here is due to this very condition. It might be link reset or link down. Reset maybe. Bit errors and credit loss, these are more often being done when I'm going to do negotiations. So bit errors, like this is a problem into our encoding and decoding that time. Credit loss, that is my buffer credit. We need to always do what? Buffer credit between you and me, how much transmission we are going to do. And there's still a pattern that is being always followed, guys. Like it's very similar like our window sizing in TCP. Remember, like we do have window sizing in our TCP that will increase the window size one by one. But when we come into the condition where we can't increase it or decrease it, we will follow that very thing. So that is just like a buffer credit over here. Excuse me?
2GB, 1GB.
Yeah, so need to see that very stuff. And when we go for ploggy process, we check it out from our servers directly. Even you can have what? TrustSec. You can have even TrustSec now being implemented into our MDS switches. Okay, but this is not the thing that we have relatively seen. Now if I'll see show NPV external interfaces, now which interface is being mapped? You don't have to do anything, it will be automatically recovered. Okay, but I tell that if you don't have patience, you can shut down.
Now we got two kind of things. One is static with one by one, and other is dynamic with one by one.
So let's see now whether static and dynamic can sit in the same bucket or not. Like if I'll shut down 1/8, then we should see there should be a dynamic pinning. Okay, like I do have 3 ports. Is it or not?
Yeah.
By 3 ports I can go anywhere. I have told you that you please go with 1/8. Now if I go to 1/8 and if I shut it down, what you should be expecting? Whether it should be pinned to 1/1 or 1/2?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes.
It's going to be not, because whenever you enable static, it will disable the dynamic. Remember this one. You need to disable that command, then only the stop of dynamic pinning would again appear. Now there's no any interface that is being found out. If I'll see show interface brief, what we can see into this very interface. Why we are going to get this kind of very different kind of error. NPM external link down, because buddy you have actually mapped a static and that external interface is down. So whenever you get this kind of keyword, then you might have done a static. NP external link down. Okay. Is there any another kind of association that we can see FC1/10? Very telling very clearly. NP upstream port not available. NP. But if I'll disable it, like what we have got in our running config, show run include NPV. If I'll commit no to it. Now if I'll see show run include NPV, sorry, show interface brief. Now what you will find out, the interface is being coming up, is it or not? And if I'll see show NPV external interface, you'll see now it is being mapped to 1/1. So the thing is that just you need to make a mapping for it. Did you understand this very stuff, guys?
Yes.
Easy or tough? Need to know about the pattern, guys. Remember, guys, why we are doing this very config. Remember about these very stuff. Because if you are moving from any field to any field, because we are coming entirely from Ethernet field to our storage, the way of studies will be pretty same. It's not going to be very different. Always ask the question, why we need this command. When you start to ask this very question on that day only, you will study networking. You will understand it. Otherwise, just looking down to the command that this is the answer that I need to give in the examination. If you have that very feeling, then sorry, you will not learn anything. You need to actually understand the command very well. Now, what do you need to do next thing? Now, I need to make vSAN 200 pattern. I need to make vSAN 200. Like this server, obviously this port is being defined with our which very interface? This interface is being defined with which vSAN?
100.
vSAN 100. So we defined vSAN 100 over here. We did define vSAN 100. We defined vSAN 100. Now the next interface must be defined into which very vSAN? It must be defined in another set of vSAN. Like it should be defined in vSAN 200. It's going to be mapped to which very MDS? MDS4. Again 200 we need to define over here. It should be defined onto this very port as what? 200, and this very port also in our 200. So then only we will see that if we want to go for 100, so he can go in how many ways? He can go in this very way. He can go in this way. If he want to go to 200, he can go in this very way, because 200 I'll define from MDS2, or else he can go in this way. So I have actually provided him how many ways to make a communication? 4 ways. 2 from vSAN 100 and 2 from vSAN 200. So that will give you more number of option of doing redundancies. But if you do have any another set of vSAN over here, like you do have vSAN 100 over here, and you do have a device as in our vSAN 200. In those conditions, I'm going to make it as 200 over here, and this very port as our 100. Really, you have to look down to the topologies. Why I'm telling this very condition, guys? Like both of the MDS does have 2 set of servers, and they do have 2 set of vSAN, mixed vSAN, 100 and 200, both has got. But we know that 100 will go only through which very device? MDS1. So it's going to tell all the ports in which very vSAN. 100. So I'm going to give him just very window. This very window to go over here, and I will provide him give this very window to go to 100. If I'll talk about in our 200, 200 will be provided by this very way, or it could be provided in what very way? In this way.
Yes.
So you need to just understand the vSAN, because ultimately vSAN is also providing what? Just like our redundancies while making any kind of designing of our network. So it's not like a LAN network. Okay, like in this very previous diagram which I talked about, that we will be putting 100 and 200, then it's a purely like a VLAN kind of design. But ultimately vSAN is also providing a redundancies. Okay, so we'll be doing this very config, and then we will take a break, and then we will come back, and then we will go with our N-Port channel trunking. So I'll go to which very device? MDS4. I need to define password. Always define password CCID C01, guys. Uppercase, first C uppercase. Otherwise, if you're working late night and if anyone has defined any other password, he will be not able to access the device. MDS4. In MDS4, what I need to define? We need to tell feature NPV. Management port should have an IP address. Why they are telling?
But it will be.
Because it will not define management IP address into it. When it will come back, you're not able to access this very device. Because it's telling me that it's intimating that it would do the restart process. So I'll go to my interface management 0, 172.16.5.162.255.255.
Is for MDS2.
Another interface. So what it did? Why? How he got to know that there is a conflict? GR. And wherever he is going to provide an IP address, he is going to send a AR. That's going to be called as precious. And I'm going to write on feature NPV. Okay, let it be reboot. Meanwhile, we will come back and then we will go for this very condition, and then we will configure the N-Port channel. Any doubt, guys, up to this very point?